Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Brothers and sisters, welcome to a extremely important topic that isn't much talked about, but it is really dear to my heart because I see so many people affected by illness and disability, and it's a really important topic that we have with us Sheikh Muhammad Al Malki from Riyadh, and he'll be going through this really important topic, the rights of the sick and disabled in Islam. The Sheikh is a student of lots of renowned shuyukh in the past, like for the likes of Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen, may Allah be pleased with them and have mercy on them. Before I hand over to the Sheikh, the talk is being supported through a charity called Islam for Deaf, and we have with us a brother Abdul Hakim, who's come all this way to tell us about this charity, and I will hand over to the brother to go through about the charity so you know a bit more, and then we will continue with the talk.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Hakim. I'm one of the managers for a charity organising a program called Islam for the Deaf. It started 3 years ago. It wasn't something that was intentional. It was because of the demand for Islamic education in sign language. So here we are. We've done the first, alhamdulillah, this year, this Ramadan, the one that just left. We've done the first Taraweeh prayers in sign language ever to be done, and inshallah we want to try and now have consistency. So every year, we're trying to aim for at least one city, one masjid in every city, where the deaf community can go to and benefit as well. So we ask you to take a leaflet. All the sisters upstairs, you can come downstairs on the way out and take a leaflet. You can fill it in and leave it here, or brothers, you can fill it in or you can take it home. And if you know any deaf people, just encourage them, pass on the leaflet. And even yourself, you can check the website. It's islamfordeaf.co.uk. All the lectures that are on there are in BSL, which is sign language. Is something which is needed in our deaf community. There's also on there Islam for Deaf Kids. So now we're doing programs and cartoons in sign language for deaf children. This is the first time anything has been done like this, and we ask you to support it. Jazakallah.
So brothers and sisters, please don't forget to pick up those leaflets on the way out, and even if you pick up the leaflets, then try and do something with the leaflet. Sometimes we pick up leaflets and they end up somewhere and we don't actually do anything. So please support this charity, and ongoing as well, because there's not many charities that do the good work that this brother has started. May Allah reward him and help the charity. Before I hand over to the Sheikh, I wanted to mention one hadith which a brother shared with me, which is recorded in Sahih Muslim, regarding a companion called Julaybib. Julaybib was a companion who was short-statured. He was like a dwarf, and his appearance also caused him to be somewhat ostracized. And his marriage was personally arranged by the intervention of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when he died, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood up and went to the spot where Julaybib lay, and he stood over him and he said, "This man is of me and I am of him." And he repeated this 2 or 3 times. And the Prophet ﷺ then took him in his arms, and it is said that he had no better bed besides the forearms of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ. And then he dug for him a grave and himself placed him in it. And this is recorded in Sahih Muslim. So this shows just an example of how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with a dwarf person. So let us self-reflect on ourselves and our families, how do we treat people who are disabled, for example, a dwarf or someone who may have either a congenital abnormality from birth or an inherited condition which leads to them either being short-statured or having other disabilities. So we should use this opportunity to reflect and change our attitude towards these people. And verily, there are lots of communities that don't deal with them in the just way. And you often find, which is the sad thing about it, is that the non-Muslims deal with the Muslims that are disabled better than the Muslims themselves deal with the Muslims that are disabled in the community. And that's a really sad fact. And we must all change that. We must try and deal with them even better than the way the non-Muslims deal with them. And I hope during this talk and both at the end you take this away with you. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Sheikh Malki.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi wa ihtada bi hadihi ila yawm ad-din, amma ba'd. First of all, the religion of Islam is the perfect religion, as it is the last and seal religion Allah has sent down to human. And as it is the last religion sent down to humans so they can know how to live, how to travel, because since you are born as human until you die, you are traveling on a journey that you are created for it. It is a purpose of your creation. This purpose is to cut this journey, to go on this journey. And on this journey, you need information about direction, where to go, about what to carry as fuel of your body to continue the journey, etc., etc. Who will tell you all this except Allah, the one who created you and the one who wanted you to go on this journey? The landing of this journey is the plain land of resurrection. There you're going to land. When you land there, you will check your luggage. Whether you have them or you lost them, whether your luggage are still with your personal properties or it's empty, you're just carrying empty luggage. Islam came to organize life of human. Islam didn't come to make our lives miserable as some people think. Islam didn't come to make our economy lower than the economy of non-Muslims. No. Islam came to give us the best advantage of life and to use it to get the best advantage of the hereafter. Islam is not different from any other religion that Allah has sent down. There is no any difference. What do you see in Islam? You see in all the previous religions that Allah sent down. For example, rights of parents. Don't think that rights of parents are only found in Islam. Remember Isa alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, and Isa as well. Isa alayhi salam is in Surah Maryam. Allah Ta'ala said, what about him? وَبَرًّا بِوَالِدَتِي. I'm dutiful and grateful with my mother. And same thing with neighbors, with kinships. Islam is the name of the religions that Allah Ta'ala sent down. All of it called Islam. And Islam means to submit your case to your Lord, obeying Him in all of His commands, abstaining from all that He made forbidden. And that is the system of life, how you can live. If you don't use the manual that Allah Ta'ala sent down for you how to live, you're not going to live. As Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala said, there is a Jannah, there is a paradise for Allah on earth. He whoever cannot enter it, then he cannot enter the paradise in the hereafter. This paradise is Islam. That's it, simple. Islam. But Islam on how it was revealed, not on how you like it, how you exercise it your own way. No, because today, as you see, Muslims are upon different variety of different ways of understanding and implementing Islam. This cannot be all Islam. Islam is only one. Islam is only one thing. It is what Rasulullah ﷺ was sent with. So you need to learn it. From this is what, look at this, subhanallah. The beauty of Islam is that how long was the period that Rasulullah ﷺ conveyed the message of Allah? It's only 23 years. Only 23 years. Rasulullah conveyed all of this religion in 23 years. Just 23 years. It's a very short time. Okay? But conveyed everything that brings you closer to Allah and takes you away from the fire. You need to learn it. You need to learn it. You cannot have it just by hope. You need to act, you need to work, you need to learn it. From this is what Rasulullah taught us of the rights of those sick people, disabled, death, even death. Didn't Allah tell us the story of Habil and Qabil and how when one of them killed the other, then Allah sent a crow to show him, two crows, one killed the other and then showed him how to do with the body? Didn't Rasulullah ﷺ tell us what to do with the deceased bodies? All that is taught in Islam. It's taught in Islam. From these things, as I said, is dealing with sick people. Whether they are people who are sick forever. We have people who get sick all their lives. And sometimes people who are sick just for a short while. All Rasulullah ﷺ taught us verbally and practically what to do. Disabled, same thing. As you hear the brother recited for you the hadith in Sahih Muslim of Julaybib. He wasn't sick. He wasn't disabled. But he was short. Okay? He was short. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was very slim, short, with very thin legs. And one day he was sitting on a branch of a tree and his legs were swinging, uncovered. The Sahaba laughed because they were very, very small, very thin. The Prophet ﷺ said to the Sahaba, you laugh for the shin of Ibn Mas'ud? By Allah, they are in the scale of Allah heavier than the mountain of Uhud, because they carry Iman. This is a kind of support from Rasulullah ﷺ to Ibn Mas'ud. And same when Aisha radiallahu anha said to Safiya bint Huyay ibn Akhtab, Ya qasira, are you short woman? The Prophet ﷺ said to her, said to Aisha, you have said the word, if it would be mixed with the rivers of the whole earth, it turned them sour. And this is not disability, ya ikhwan. This is not disability. You know, to be created short, it's not a disability. But yet Rasulullah ﷺ defended it. Because you offend others when you look to them of such thing. Fat, short, bald, whatsoever. And this is unacceptable in Islam. Now guess what, when it is with disability? Rasulullah ﷺ taught us what to do. For example, in Bukhari and Muslim, on the authority of Abu Dharr al-Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, he said, I asked the Prophet ﷺ, what deed is the best to do? He ﷺ said, Imanun billah, believing in Allah. And then jihad for the sake of Allah. He said, then I said, Ya Rasulullah, what neck, meaning slave, is the best to free? He said, well, it is the most expensive one and the most liked by its owners, because they are not going to release it easily. Then Ibn Mas'ud said, Ya Rasulullah, what if I don't do any of this? He ﷺ said to him, Tu'inu sani'an, you help someone who, a worker who does something, like hand skill works, like smith, blacksmith, or carpenter, or whatsoever. You help them. And then he said, أو تصنع لأخرق. This is the reason I brought the hadith. أو تصنع لأخرق. أخرق is the one who has disability in brain. I don't want to call him fool, but he is someone who does not, who does not have way of thinking. He's not crazy, he's not mad, but he has some disability. Okay, somehow. He said, تصنع لأخرق. You go, and if he is trying to do some handworks to earn income, but he doesn't know how to do it, of course no one will accept his work. So he said, you go and do it for him. You go and do it for him. Meaning, help him and give him care. And give him care. That's how Islam teaches us to deal with this. One day Rasulullah ﷺ was in a journey, and the camels, or whatever transport they used to use, some of them are strong, these animals, so they go fast. Some of them are weak, they go slow. The Prophet ﷺ used to stay behind everyone to make sure that all of them are going without any problem. And then he says, سيروا بسير أبطئكم. Don't go fast, but go as slow as the slowest one of you. Why? Because first of all, you give him some hope, encourage him, and at the same time, you might go far and then something wrong happens to him, and he is in need of you. So the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us how to deal with anybody with any type of disability, with any type. And the examples from the Sunnah are so huge, so many. One day, a woman who has some problem in her intellect, as in the hadith of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. He said that there was a woman who had some disability, some sort of disability in her way of thinking. She said, Ya Rasulullah, I have a need for you to do. He said, okay, mother of so-and-so, choose which way of Medina you want me to go with you, and you speak to me about what you want. And then she took it from his hand and went with him to a way, just far from the Sahaba. They can't see them, but they can't hear. And she spoke to him of what she needs, and he did all what she needs for her. Why? Because she is someone with disability. The blind Abdullah ibn Maktoum. You all know the story of Abdullah ibn Maktoum, the companion, who Allah Ta'ala descended surah for because of him. Abasa wa tawalla an ja'ahu al-a'ma. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forward and turned away because there come to him the blind man, which is Abdullah ibn Maktoum. At that time, there were the heads of Quraysh came to Medina for a reason. So the Prophet ﷺ wanted to offer Islam to them. Maybe they accept Islam, so everybody behind accept Islam then. Ibn Maktoum came to Rasulullah ﷺ. He was a blind, and he wanted to ask him about something. And he interrupted the Prophet ﷺ in offering Islam to those kuffar. The Prophet ﷺ said to him, keep it later. Just that word. Allah Ta'ala sent this ayat. Abasa wa tawalla. Is foreign and turned away. Allah is blaming him. Rasulullah ﷺ, after that incident, every time he meets Abdullah ibn Maktoum, he used to say to him, welcome a man who Allah Ta'ala blamed me because of. He is welcoming him in a way to emphasize his rank before Allah. This all shows us how Islam takes care about these people with disability. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, as well known as, he is known as the fifth Khalifa of Islam. When he became the Khalifa, he sent to his governors all around the Muslim lands, commanding them to see those with special needs, like blinds, assign for him someone to lead him and give him salary from the government, from the house of Baytul Mal. And those even Khulafa after, they have built houses for those of special needs. So Islam preceded all this, what we see today in the West, of giving care to the people with disabilities. Islam was before them. Not only with that, even with animals. Today they say animal rights are only seen in the West. That's not correct. But very unfortunately, the Muslims left Islam behind. That's the problem. Muslims left Islam behind. And here, let me just tell you a story of the topic. In one of the Western countries, there was an Arab migrant, Muslim Arab migrant, who was working as a cashier in a supermarket. A woman with full hijab and niqab came. This Arab woman was not in hijab or niqab at all. At all. She was in jeans and that's it. So that woman came in full hijab and niqab. You cannot know she's black, she's white, because she's fully covered. So the Arab woman said to her, if you want to dress this way, why didn't you stay back home, meaning in your country? She said to her, and she removed the niqab for her, and she was very, very white, not only normal white. She said to her, I'm from this country originally. She's French. She said, I'm French originally, and I accepted Islam, which you sold it and we bought it. That's the truth. Muslims left Islam behind them. Didn't the Prophet ﷺ tell us about the prostitute who Allah Ta'ala forgave and made her enter the Jannah just because one day she came to a well which has a little, what do you call that, pond? Or what? Like a small pool where they drag the water from the well and put it there for animals and people to drink. But that pool was empty, dry. So when the woman dragged water from the well and drank, there come a dog, very thirsty, eating soil because of thirst. She went down the well, filled her shoes with water, and made the dog drink. Allah forgive her. Why did Rasulullah tell us this story which happened in the past? It's only to encourage us to give the rights to the animals. To give right to animals. And also, in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ told us that from Iman, and it is considered sadaqah for you, is to help the needy people. Needy people does not necessarily mean poor, but everybody who is in need for your help. And he explained that. He said, if you see someone who needs a ride, you give him a ride. If you see someone, a blind who wants to cross a road, you help him crossing the road. If you see someone loading on his donkey or camel or today car, but something that he cannot carry alone or it's heavy for him to carry, you help without him asking you. So this is encouragement from Islam to the followers of Islam to help and to be positive in your society. Not necessarily Muslims, even non-Muslims. Rasulullah ﷺ used to help everyone, even non-Muslims. And the sick people, also Islam gave them the right. The Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Muslim, the right of the Muslim is 5, and in other narration 6. From them, when he gets sick, you visit him. You visit him. But guess what? Did the Prophet ﷺ only visit Muslims? No. He visited the Jew young boy who accepted Islam when Rasulullah ﷺ visited him and died right away. Rasulullah ﷺ came out of his house happy, saying to the people, Alhamdulillah, that Allah make him accept Islam through me. And he visited his uncle Abu Talib, who was upon idol worshipping. And he was sad when Abu Talib did not accept his call to Islam and died upon idol worshipping. Not only that, even visiting graves. He ﷺ encouraged us to visit the graves, and he said, this is the right of your Muslim brother and sister to go and visit them in the graves. Whether you know them or you don't know them, you go and visit the graves and give salam to the buried bodies there. And not only Muslims, even non-Muslims, but non-Muslims you don't give salam to. You didn't give salam. But you go and visit just to get the reminder. My brothers and sisters, Islam encouraged the followers of it highly and excessively in helping. And take it as wide word. Helping, whether it is disabled, sick, whatever, man, woman, child, helping. Helping everyone. And especially those of special needs. Especially those with special needs. You need to give them hand and help them. When you see an old man who is having difficulty to climb the stairs, you go help him. When you see an old woman carrying a bag of something that she bought from the grocery, even if it is only 1 kg, it will affect on her because she's old. You go and help her. You always help those of need, whether they are blind, deaf, limping or whatever. You help. Whoever is in need for you, you help. Why? Because Allah Ta'ala said, Wallahu, the Prophet ﷺ said, Wallahu fi awni al-abdi ma kana al-abdu fi awni akhi. And Allah is in the need of the slave as long as the slave is in the need of his brother. Meaning, helping him. Allah will help you as long as you help the others. Allah will help you. So we need to understand this and help. For the sick, what to do? Visit them. As in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, from the rights of the Muslim is to visit him when he is sick. In the other hadith, Hadith Qudsi, Allah Ta'ala said, Ya abdi, maridtu falam ta'udni. قال يا رب كيف أعودك وأنت رب العالمين. قال ألم تعلم أن عبدي فلانا مرض ألم تعلم أنك لو عدته لوجدتني عنده. Allah is saying to the slave on the day of resurrection, of course, oh my slave, I got sick and you didn't visit me. You say, oh Allah, how come you get sick and you are the Lord of all universe? He says, didn't you know that my slave so and so gets sick and you did not visit him? Didn't you know that if you visit him, you find me there by him? Meaning, you find my pleasure, you find my reward, you find my help to you. This is encouragement to go and visit these sick people. Even if they are kuffar. Visit them and show them that Islam is the thing made you to go. It's not only because of your personality. It's Islam which made you to come and visit. Let them know that. Let them love Islam. Let them know Islam. Don't lie, but let them know the reality of Islam. Also, when you visit the sick person, he has another right there. What is that? To make supplication for him, to supplicate for him. As'alullah. The Prophet ﷺ taught us, he said, when one of you visit the sick person, let him to say by him 7 times, As'alullah al-Azim, Rabb al-Arsh al-Azim, an yashfik. I ask Allah, the greatest, the Lord of the great throne, to heal you. 7 times. And also, he also ﷺ taught us to say to the sick person when we visit him, La ba's tahurun insha'Allah. No harm on you, and purification it is by the will of Allah. What is that? What does that mean? The Prophet ﷺ told us that every Muslim get harmed with illness, with thorn, with anything. This would be a recovery, or a forgiveness of his sins. And that is the meaning of tahur, purification of his sins. So you make this obligation, oh Allah, make it as you made him sick, make this sickness purification of his sins. And then you say, نعم أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك 7 times. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيك. I ask Allah, the greatest, the Lord of the great throne, to heal you or cure you. This is from his right. From his right. Now, so Islam not only encouraged but commanded us. When he says it is his right, it means if you don't give it to him, you are in sin. If it is his right, then you have to give it. If you don't give it, then you are in sin. So we have to give the rights to those who have right with us, especially those of special need. Those of special need. Blind, deaf, paralyzed. Yani you see someone who's paralyzed and using wheelchair and pushing it by his hands, pushing the wheels. It's hard. It's very hard. You better come from behind and push him. You will please him, and before him you are pleasing Allah. You are pleasing Allah. Even if he is not Muslim. Even if he is not Muslim. But of course, when he is Muslim, it is more obligatory upon you. So we need to, first of all, understand this and address it to the people. They're very unfortunate. I'm sure that everybody knows this hadith which I mentioned. It's not something new, because if your imam is reading Riyadh al-Salihin for you, you have came across this already. But the problem is, we don't emphasize. We don't elaborate. We don't put the spotlight. That's why we are very behind today. Way, way behind. We are seen like we are very rough. We have no mercy to one another. Why? Because we are not following the Islamic instructions. May Allah Ta'ala make us from those who give the rights to everyone who deserve it, and make us from those who fulfill all the rights which made upon them. May Allah Ta'ala make us very helpful to the whole community, and especially to the Muslim ones. And may Allah Ta'ala bring the love amongst the hearts of Muslims to one another, and make them form the real unity, and show the beautiful image of Islam and Muslim environment as it was at the time of the Sahaba. Wallahu a'lam, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.
Ameen.
Jazakallah Shaykh. Before I mention one hadith that came to mind during the talk, just a reminder, we did send a message out. There will be some cakes being sold outside the main entrance on the left hand side. We can't sell anything in the masjid because it's forbidden, but all these funds will be used for the masjid for activity for the children. So please, before you leave for your homes, please do go there and buy some cakes, and inshallah you'll get the reward for that. The hadith that came to mind when I was looking at all the youngsters, Sheikh, sitting in front of me, was the hadith of the take benefit of the 5 before 5. And the hadith which says that take benefit of your youth before your old age. Take benefit of your health before your sickness, and then the other 3, whether your wealth before your poverty, and your free time before your preoccupation, and your life before death. And sometimes when I sit here, I remember one day I was sitting where the youngsters are sitting, because this place, Kirkham Road, we've been using this for talks for many years. And subhanAllah, time goes very quickly, and a reminder for the youth, alhamdulillah, I still have a few years left myself, and I urge myself to take advantage, but the very youngsters, take advantage of your youth before your old age. And subhanAllah, the profession I'm in, I often see people, one day they are able to make sajda, and wallahi, within a split second they can't even walk, and those that neglect the fard, they don't even make the sajda, there'll come a day when you may not even be able to walk to even make wudu for yourself. So your health, your good health that you all have now, you're able-bodied, you have sight, hearing, you can move all your 4 limbs. You have absolutely no excuse for not doing the fard. Absolutely no excuse. And it's a blessing on you, and you have time and you have health, that never mind do the fard. Then I urge myself and the youngsters and the elders to do the nafil ibadat, the additional prayers, the additional fast. Because one day will come when your health will just be taken. And I only saw somebody last week, 60-year-old, completely well, and then one night he had a stroke and is paralyzed on one side, and now he can't walk. And he came to my surgery using a stick, and his wife was walking with him. And there was another person that I saw who's a diabetic, and he just became blind all of a sudden. He had a bleed in his eye, and his sight went. So don't waste your time. Don't waste your time on entertainment, on television, computer games. Use your time wisely. You have time. Read, as the Sheikh mentioned at the start, you have good health to read the Quran, learn the Sunnah, memorize the Quran. This is your time of youth, and certainly do the obligatory 5 daily prayers. Never mind now we're in winter, the Fajr doesn't start nearly 2 minutes to 6. You can easily get up at 5 o'clock and pray before the Fajr starts, the Qiyamul Layl. There's no reason why you can't. It's just laziness, procrastination. We just leave it for another day, and then another day goes by. And then use your health before your sickness. And I think the other thing that came to mind, Sheikh, during your talk is that sometimes when we live in the West, we become very individualistic, like the non-Muslims are. We just think about ourselves. If we're fine, then that's fine. Never mind the neighbor, the friend, or the needy. Because actually, the non-Muslims, they don't have the deen, they don't have the understanding, so they become individualistic because they're capitalist upbringing. They just earn wealth and spend on themselves and enjoy themselves. And they become very individualistic, and slowly that starts affecting us from a young age in the schools, because they become individualistic like them. And I thought your reminder was beautiful, Sheikh, around how just simple things that you do, like helping people, various things that you do for them, and subhanAllah, they do appreciate it when you do help them. But it should become a daily thing. It should be a norm for all of us to do this, and we should set that example, inshallah. Brother,
I remember here one incident happened in the West. A very old lady who her children left her alone and didn't even come to see what she needs or if she's sick or not. There was a young Muslim neighbor who was always checking on her and doing all what she needs to do. One day he came and she was crying. He asked her why she is crying. She said, "For what you do. None of my children did it. And you leave all your commitments and you come to help me." He said to her that in Islam we are told to take care of neighbors and all people. She immediately accepted Islam. It affects now. It's not necessarily because we are so emotional, we will go on that direction. Only look for non-Muslims. La. The Muslim, as I always say, we are like businessmen in the market. We have capital and profit. Muslims are our capital. Without capital, you cannot do any business. You cannot have any profit. Okay, no problem. Look for the profit, but after the capital.
yes.
Look around you. Here, in your locality, you have many old Muslim men and women. Have you ever thought of going asking if they need anything? Believe me, this means a lot to them. This means a lot to them. SubhanAllah. That's why we say, we need to use this. Very unfortunately, we are using it, as the brother said, in video games and these things. We are using it in science, but we are not using it in earning hasanat. The easy way is to earn hasanat. Very easy. Allah never made any earning easier than hasanat. Very easy. Look, for example, jihad. Jihad is something difficult. Injuries, souls, killing, this and that, But Allah Ta'ala said to you, if you, the Prophet ﷺ said, ألا أدلكم على ما هو خير لكم عند مليككم على ما هو أزكى لكم عند مليككم خير لكم من أن تلقوا عدوكم فتضربوا أعناقهم ويضربوا أعناقكم وخير لكم من أن تنفقوا الذهب والورق. He was asking the Sahaba, should I not tell you about that thing which is better for you before you Lord, than meeting or facing your enemies, breaking their necks and they break your neck. That's in jihad. Huh? And better for you than spending the gold and silver fi sabilillah. He said, Ya Rasulullah, yeah. Let us know, what is that? He said, dhikrullah. Easy. Just dhikr, you earn more hasanat than all that. The hasanat sourcing in Islam is very easy. The Prophet ﷺ said, تَبَسُّمُكَ بِوَجْهِ أَخِيكَ صَدَقَةً. Smiling at the face of your brother, this is sadaqah. Just a smile, what can it cause you? What cost it make on you? Who ask you for bill? Just a smile. You know, what I mean to say, the Prophet ﷺ said, أَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِذَا صَنَعْتُمُ. He said, لَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا. You won't enter the Jannah until you become believers. Of course, no one will enter the Jannah if he is not a believer. وَلَن تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُوا. You won't have good iman and perfect iman until you love one another. أَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِذَا فَعَلْتُمُوا تَحَابَبْتُمْ. Should I not tell you about a thing that if you do, you become loving one another? أَفْشُوا السَّلَامِ بَيْنَكُمْ. Just salam. What it costs you. Whenever you see your Muslim brother, you know him, you don't know him, but you can recognize that he is Muslim. Assalamu alaikum. Just salamu alaikum. It doesn't cost you anything. He accepted, he doesn't accept it. Today he gave you a bad look when you said salamu alaikum, because this is always raised. Oh, I have a brother, when I say salamu alaikum, he turned the other side. You said it for him or for Allah? You said it for Allah, don't care. He replies, he doesn't, don't care about him. He's in sin, not you. You earn the hasanat. You say salamu alaikum the second day, the third day. If you are a believer, a true believer, you should understand that assalamu alaikum is even stronger than the torch fire when directed to strongest piece of metal. What it can do, you have a torch fire and you are pointing it to a metal. What it can do?
Melt it.
Melt it, isn't it? Assalamu alaikum will melt all this hardness of his heart. One day you will see it change.
Sure.
But you need to continue. Our problem is, we want it like that. 1 + 1 = 2. You all study mathematics. It's not in all cases 1 + 1 = 2. Is it? Sometimes it doesn't equal 2. Sometimes it doesn't equal 2. I'm not man, but I knew something like that. I hope that I'm right. They say that sometimes 1 + 1 does not equal 2. So don't just go that simple, in your calculation of hasanat.
Yeah.
Be clever. Be clever.
No.
Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.
Okay. Jazakallah. Due to time, I'm sorry, brothers, sisters, we won't have time for question and answers, so we end it there, inshallah. Please don't forget to buy some cakes on the way out. The brothers and sisters have gone to a lot of effort to get that, so we end it there, inshallah. And we plan, inshallah, next Saturday there's another reminder, inshallah, from Sheikh Abdul Hadi from Birmingham, so please come then.
Tomorrow, I think.
And inshallah, tomorrow we have another one, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
I saw the poster here. I saw the poster of Sheikh Hassan.
Yes, inshallah.